Hello there and welcome back to Seaside Garage. It's the next day from the previous video, that is. I've painted the repair twice now, so it's ready to get rust protection and all that, but I want to fix all the rest of it beforehand. I'm also going to make some drain holes as suggested by some of you, which is a pretty good idea, to be honest. But what I want to fix in this video is the hole inside of there. And I hope to be able to fix it by opening up the rocker panel out here, the sill, I think it's called. So let me take you a bit closer and show you the plan of attack. Good thick protective paint, and with a layer of that black stuff from over here. It's gonna be well protected and also look quite original, and I like that. So that's nice. The thing that I'm gonna tackle today is the hole inside of there. You can see it just barely right there. Hole. I could remove this entire bracket and do it from this side, but I think that would be overkill. Remember, I'm not doing a full restoration. The correct way to do this would be to take it completely apart. Check out Adventures in Rust for that kind of treatment. Oh, it's called something else now. Anyway, he does it the correct way in removing the rings and all that. I'm not doing a full restoration, I'm doing a revival. Therefore, my hope is to be able to tackle that rust bit, it's just behind here, by opening up this sill. I need to fix this area anyway. There's a hole down there I also need to fix. There's also rust up here I need to fix. The rust up here could be fixed with this in place. This down here, yeah, that's gonna be difficult. So I am tempted to actually cut this part of the panel off, removing this and then cutting in there, because then I could maybe weld it up in there, making it not that visible. I was really hoping not to have to do that. I could also remove the entire panel, but I know it will escalate if I do that, and I'm trying to make it escalate as little as possible, of course. I'm gonna butcher this panel up a bit, either cutting it down like this, maybe just like this, underneath this if I can remove it. I don't think I can. Or in this, behind this rubber strip, and then down there somewhere. The reason why I'm gonna do that, because the fact is that this is just a tiny panel. It goes like this and then around there and down. It should be rather easy to just take that off. But I noticed something, and let me show you. Right here is the place it is supposed to be spot welded, and it is spot welded. There is a spot there, 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 there. I saw that, and then I went inside the trunk also. Where I noticed those spots underneath the plastic part. Those are not protected. And also the seam sealer looks like this. Take a look at the other side. It's a different kind. There's also tape over the holes. Also on the other side, let's take a look at those spot welds. There's a spot weld there, there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, this is original. The one over there has been off at some point or replaced, who knows? Something has happened in that corner. And I just don't dare to start to try to take that off, because all those small spot welds, it will be hard to find them. It will probably be damaged. The lip behind it will probably get a lot of damage. It will just spiral out of control, for me at least. And this is not a restoration, but a revival. So I'm gonna do that, cutting this down somehow. And then I'm just gonna have to weld that up and paint it. It will probably not be completely perfect. It's thin material, but this is the decision that I made. And I'm gonna do it like this, cut it behind this, down here, because then I can also remove this panel in here that I need to repair. I think I took the wrong decision. I have a lot of welding to do all the way down here when I reattach this panel. I cannot go too crazy with the welder because it will heat warp like crazy. So it might not be the wisest decision, but now I have something to work from. And I can now get to this, which I need to rebuild. I can get to this inner part that I need to rebuild. I need to do some minor stuff to this before reattaching it. The lip up here needs to be fixed. I really hope not to do much that will damage the paint. It could be nice to just weld this back in and then just paint inside of here. If I need to paint out here, it will be alright, I think. It's not going to be too bad. And the paint is not brilliant either on the car, and I need to respray the front wing and so on also. So, all in all, I think it's going to end up alright. But I better get to work before I realize what I just did. I'm going to cut it up like this, and then hopefully be able to access that hole in there. So I am attempting to cut away the ruddy area so I can replace that. So I'm finally happy with where I am for this repair. Now I can make a panel that goes around. Got all that rusty stuff out of there. Still a little bit up there, but I'm just going to treat that. This is all solid. I need to weld up this panel, that little lip there that has rusted away. Going to weld that up, then make the repair panel and paint it. But what I want to do now is to actually just clean this part up a little bit better and then treat and clean this. So I took the liberty to do a jump cut. Unfortunately, it only works in the video world. I had to do the work off camera. I would like to jump cut some stuff in the real world as well. But this has been cleaned up, painted with some zinc primer. I have welded this piece that was missing over there. And I also made the patch ready to weld in. So that is what I'm going to do now. Here we have the patch. It will just fit nicely like this. Then I can tack weld it in. So that's tack welded in, and I'm just going to fully weld it, and then that's that repair done. Then I just need to make the closing panel, which is going to be the biggest challenge in this repair. A bit of heat later. This is the result. Not the prettiest spot weld right there. I had a gas issue, but other than that, it is plenty strong at least. I will clean this up using the angle grinder and dress it up a bit just for my own sake, because it will never be visible again, hopefully. So yeah, I will do that. So now I want to make the closing panel for this piece. Then make the repair over there afterwards. So I'm gonna start to make one. I'm not gonna do anything about these edge and remove this before I made the panel, because I need to make sure that it will fit. Firstly, so I found a piece of metal to make this panel out of. And now I'm actually gonna use my bender. It's not called a bender, it's called a brake, I think. I got one. You might wonder why I'm not using it. I told you in a previous video that I don't really like the one that I have. It's not very good, but it's better than nothing for this application, because yeah, I could just bend it over a ledge, but I'm gonna use the brake and also show you why I don't really like it. This is the one that I have, but it just, I think it would be okay for bending tin foil, but it's just not sturdy enough. This is 0.9, and that's too much for it to handle, to make a crisp bend for sure. You can make an alright one on 0.7, but it's bending on the middle. I might have adjusted it wrong, but I don't think so. I just think it's too thin, the material, but it will bend. Just not very pretty. There we have a bend, and as you can see, it's going over like that. It's not a straight edge, so I'm gonna use a hammer to just make it a little bit more crisp. So that's the first bend done. Then I need to go and measure, because the panel doesn't just curve like that. It has a straight edge and then curves. So I'm gonna see if I can find that. This is when I realized this edge shouldn't actually be a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to open it up slightly. I'm going to do that just by clamping it in. And then just pull it out a bit. Something like this, I think, would be alright. And then from this black line it needs to curve for the rest of the way. So I'm going to try to make it do that. I'm just going to slide this in. So the black line like that, and then start the curve with a bit of a bend right there. I think that will do, and then just so it's starting to look like something that might work. And then I have the bend. So this honestly looks quite nice. I'm just using this side as a guide, but it feels quite decent, I think. It will be alright. But I need to fold the edge up here because it's folded around. So I'm gonna do that. So it's starting to look like a edge that folds in. And I made this very long, so I have more than enough material. And also I made this edge just to get a bit of training, because it's in the wrong side. It needs to be over there. Classic me. But I learned something. I think it would be wise to just give it a little cut here to make it a little bit more smooth on the other side. I'm just gonna give it a very tiny cut right there. And then start by folding that edge. So it's starting to look like something. And I can start to cut that down. I think it looks alright. So I want to just make it roughly the right shape now. Something like that. Bit smaller. think what would be nice to do now is to remove this, clean this up, and then start to shape these two pieces together into one. I need to cut out for that ledge right there, for instance, and probably form it a bit also still. But I think it's becoming, it looks alright. I'm gonna clean up this edge, remove this. Be back in a second when that is cleaned up and nice. So the repair panel is ready, it's painted, it's ready to be fitted. Drill a couple of holes for some spot welds. I trimmed this down to fit the size of this panel. I trimmed this panel to fit the lifting point and so on, and it should fit rather nicely now. So I'm gonna go ahead and use these to attach it. So I'm gonna give it a tag up here because I need to do some forming of the metal to get that curve right. So I'm just gonna start welding it in and forming it along the way, and hopefully it will end up alright. Pretty cool looking though. I wonder if it's on fire. No, it's not. I can use these to move and then tighten them up to align the pieces. There we go. Now, to remove this, what I have to do is to unwind it. And you cannot buy these because they are made together with a friend of mine, and they are really nice. I think Penguin something also makes something that is the same principle. I haven't tried those, so I cannot say much about those, but I really like these at least. So it's just these tabs that goes in and can be like this. And then when they are tightened up, you can force the two pieces together and align them also. So that's really a nice piece of kit. So I can remove these now. I forgot to make holes in these. For crying out loud. Oh, I'm gonna drill them because they need to be there. And then I can spot weld them. gonna fully weld up this piece, taking it slowly. Just weld by weld until everything's welded up. There we go, and now I need to do a lot of grinding. Be back in a sec. So this is where I'm gonna end this video. This part is repaired, the inner panel is repaired. The hole that I found in the first checkup of this car and thought would be the hardest to fix is now fixed. Unfortunately, I found a couple of more spots that will be a little bit more difficult than this. But really all there is to it is to get started. I really like to do these kinds of repairs, and I think the result in the end tends to turn out all right. But the amount of time that I can use thinking about it, thinking about how hard it's going to be, is really wasting a lot of time because I just need to get stuck in. This repair up here, and I'm gonna say it, it's gonna be very hard. I have to think about that for a bit before I start it because there are so many curves. A repair panel would be nice, but on the other hand, although I am trying to make a business out of this channel, I do this stuff because I think it's fun. So even though it's gonna take a long time to fix up this up here without a repair panel, or this, for instance, I could just have bought a sill panel and put on. I really like to do these kinds of things, and the result with a repair panel would probably be a little bit better, but I think it's very decent, so that's nice. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget you can support me. There is a Patreon link down below. Oh, the light is fading. The battery is almost out, including my battery. So thanks for watching. Don't forget you can support me. There is a Patreon link down below and a link to the merchandise shop where you can get a t-shirt with rusty cars on them. And see you in the next one.